The Little Prince. The book starts with a man who wants to be an artist. When he was 6, he drew a picture of a boy eating an elephant, but all the adults thought it was just a hat. So he gave up and became a pilot instead. Years later, his plane crashes in the desert, and that's where he meets this kid with golden hair, the little prince. The prince asks him to draw a ship, and the pilot tries a few times, but the prince doesn't like any of them. Finally, the pilot just draws a box and says the ship is inside. The little prince loves it. So the little prince lives alone on a tiny planet, so small you can watch the sunset 44 times in one day if you want. And he takes care of his tiny planet, pulling up wild wheat every morning, and one day a special flower grows there. She's beautiful, but kind of difficult. She complains a lot, and the prince doesn't know if she really likes him. He he gets sad and decides to leave and find a friend. The little prince starts meeting all these adults. They're all kind of messed up. The book used these innocent eyes to show how ridiculous adults can be. And first, there's a kind of a tiny planet who likes to give orders, but he's just alone. The prince thinks it's pointless. What's the point of being kind if nobody's there? In the next planet, there's a vain man who only wants compliments. He can hear anything except praise. But it feels empty and weird. In the next planet, there's a drunk guy who drinks because he's ashamed of drinking. The prince finds this confusing and sad. Adults make problems and then hide from them. In the next planet, there is a businessman counts stars all day, writing numbers in a notebook. He says he owns them, but the prince asks what he does with them, and he responds, "Nothing, just count them." The prince thinks his rose is more important because he waters her and listens to her. Then, of the 50 planet, there's a lamp flyer who follows order without thinking, turning a lamp on and off every minute because those are the rules. He never stops to ask why. Unheard, he meets a fox who teach him something important. You become responsible for what you tame. The fox wants the prince to tame him, to make him special. Before leaving, the fox tell him a secret. You can only see clearly with your heart, not your eyes. The important things are invisible. The prince realizes he misses his rose, even though there are thousands of roses on earth. His rose is special because he took care of her. That time he spent with her, listening to her complaints and protecting her. That made her unique. Adults won't get this. They just see another rose. So the prince decides to back home. He makes a deal with a snake. The snake's bit will send him back to his planet. The night it happens, then the pilot is there with him. The prince tells him that not be sad, that it just look like he died, but he really is going home to his rose. He says whenever the pilot looks at the stars, it will be like millions of little bells laughing because the prince will be up there somewhere. Personally, I love the book so much. The part where the pilot tries to drop something and adults don't understand it. I've loved drawing since I was a child, and I'm aware that many adults are interested in art or drawing. I feel identified with that part. I remember that only my younger brother thought my drawings were good at that time, and I stopped drawing when I graduated from high school and went to university. Reading this book made me really want to draw again, to think also about why I don't use my free time to draw now. Could it be that I've become too serious, maybe? And I think if a child reads the book, they would also agree that adults think differently. They tend to be very logical, serious, and it made me reflect on whether I'm like that now too, and if my little brother sees me as someone serious and boring too. As for the planet the little prince visits, I think it perfectly shows the worries, vain and purposeless things that we as adults give importance to. I also think that children's thinking is even more logical than adults. They always ask themselves many times why things are the way they are, and we forget to ask ourselves at least twice why we do certain things. We are so used to not questioning many of our actions, sadly. As for the relationship between the little prince and his rose, it moved me deeply because valuable things aren't always rare, unique, or perfect. They are not things you can own or touch or measure. Their princess rose wasn't the only rose in the world, actually. They were thousand just like her on earth, and she wasn't perfect either. She was kind of annoying, always complaining and asking for things. But here's what made her special: the relationship he built with her, the morning he spent protecting her from wind, the nights he listened to her talk, the weather he gave her. That's what made her different from all the other roses. Not because she was better, but because he cared for her. Something common became meaningful because of the connection they share. He was talking about these bonds, these connections between people and things or persons, and you can't see love, you can see friendship, you can see the hours someone spent caring for another, you can see memories or the feelings you get when wet reminds you of someone's hair. These bonds exist They're real, they matter, but they're invisible. That's what adults forget when they're bossy content and owing and measuring things. Eh, they only look at what their eyes can see and they miss everything that actually matters. And as that's the most beautiful message I can take from this book, which was given to me as a gift by someone with who I have a deep connection. And that's why it means so much to me. Thank you.